Good evening, gentlemen. Today we will start our lecture, our session for Unit 5 of Niposh IG. I am sharing my screen. You can see my screen now.
Yes, sir.
And guys, you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can see my screen, right?
Right, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, okay. We are here for the Unit 5. Tomorrow we will start Unit 4. This is the fourth element, measuring, audit, and review. I just changed a little bit scenario. Before Unit 4, I have started element 5, and tomorrow or day after tomorrow, if we finish it today, then tomorrow, if we couldn't finish this element 5 today, then day after tomorrow we will start our Unit 4, and it will be easy to understand after reading and discussing the Unit 5. Unit 4 will be more easy. The learning outcomes before that. What is our element? Measuring, audit, and review. Health and safety management system. We are reading health and safety management system. This is the last section, or you can say the last element, element 5. It's very important as well, that what are the measuring, audit, and review, how we measure the effectiveness and implementation of OHS system, how we can audit, how we can review. Why we review? We already know that once we implement a procedure or a item or we implement a procedure on workplace, then we have to review that is it effective, or we are getting the set targets and goals. Is this explained or communicated well with all the employees, like to check out what are the fruits we are getting from that, what are the benefits we are getting, is it adequate as required or no. That is review and audit. So here we have outlined the principle, purpose, and role of active and reactive monitoring. Very important item, active and reactive monitoring. Explain the purpose of and procedure for health and safety auditing. Explain the purpose of and procedure for investigating accidents. Last time this question came in exam. And then describe the legal and organizational requirement for recording and reporting incidents. Explain the purpose of and procedure for regular review of health and safety performance. So active and reactive monitoring. Here we have the monitoring is of two types, active and reactive. So in simple words, I will let you understand active monitoring, any effort, any type of monitoring which we are doing before an incident or to enhance the workplace safety, to ensure the safety of the workplace. The monitorings which we are doing, that is known as active monitoring, like safety inspections, safety campaigns, safety inspections, safety audits, feedback from the employees. These all are active monitoring. And reactive monitoring, using the accident and incident ill health record, the data, using the rate of first aid cases, using the LTI data, using the sickness record, like why this sickness is happen, and then taking control or developing new control measure according to that reason, according to that incident, or according to that happening, is known as reactive monitoring. Again, I will explain to you any more type of monitoring which we are doing to control the workplace, to make it more safe before any incident, like actively before any incident we are doing, that is known as active monitoring. And if we are taking data to make the workplace safe after incident, like fire record, there is first aid cases, we just check in 6 months this type of first aid cases happen, and why, what is the reason, what is the cause of these first aid cases. When we use that data to promote health and safety, that is known as reactive monitoring. That is incident accident records, insurance claims, etc., etc. That is known as reactive monitoring. So performance standard, conformance and non-conformance with standards. Okay, number and quality of risk assessment, health and safety training schedule, consultative committee meeting to schedule or schedule, workplace inspection to schedule. These are some items which shows the performance standards, like how the performance is going on, how much we are complying, or how much the level of non-compliance. Okay, there is two terms are being used. One is non-compliance and one is non-conformance. Non-compliance means there is already a standard or a system procedure is available, but implementation is not in full form, or the developed procedure is not giving adequate result or adequate benefits. That is known as non-compliance. Again, in simple, the procedure is there, but there is a lack in implementation, or it is not implemented in full form. It's not implemented in the full shape. That is non-compliance. But non-conformance means there is no procedure developed at all. For example, in the site in the workplace, you have a cleaning activity of the offices or of the workplace or of any item. You have cleaning activity. So if the procedure of cleaning is provided, is available, is provided, is approved by the management, it means the procedure is there, but the workers or the employees are not following. That is known as non-compliance. But if there is no procedure, everyone coming to site for cleaning, he is doing what he want or what he feel good, he is doing that. There is no procedure. That is known as non-conformance. Now, is it clear? Anyone?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So here we have systematic inspections. Observation, we are plant, machinery, premises. What is plant, machinery and vehicles, tools and equipments, premises, workplace, environment. Interviewing by peoples. We can interview the peoples, their working method, their behavior for health and safety, their behavior towards the work. Examination, procedures, safe system, method statement, permit to work system. We can do this type of inspections like observation, interviewing, and examination. That is a type of inspections. Let me add new guys. Okay. So safety inspection, sampling, tours and surveys. What is safety inspection? Examination of workplace. Statutory inspection, plant and machinery, pre-use checks. This is known as safety inspection. Any inspection which is done on the workplace before any incident or at the start of the work, randomly without any systematic approach. There is no need to plan and make everything recorded initially. Just you can go to your workplace, you can go to your office, you can inspect whatever you want, which area you want, then you can record it properly in a format of the inspection report, and then you can issue to the relevant authorities, relevant parties. That is known as safety inspection. It can be statutory, like a government requirement, or pre-use inspection of the checklist or a crane entering to your workplace. You can inspect, you can check the crane, the documents, or a mechanical team, they can check the crane physically. Is there any leakage? Is there any damage? Is there any repair or whatever the requirement? That is known as safety inspection. Safety sampling. Representative sample to judge compliance, less time consuming. Yes, safety sampling is less time consuming because individuals are not going to each and every area. They are believing on the report which the safety, which the site representative are providing. Or you can say the area is divided into 10 units, 1 to 10, and they just go to unit 3. They inspect the unit 3 as a sample, and whatever the observations they find, they believe that the same is available or same is absent on all over the site. So what are the observations in unit 3? They implement on all units. That is safety sampling. That is not much accurate, but it's reducing the time and effort for the inspectors. Safety survey, detailed examination of one issue topic. Safety survey means we have vehicle movement on our project on the workplace. So what we did, we just make a questionnaire, we make a sheet, and we ask the question to the people: what is your idea about the traffic movement? Is it safe? Is the speed is okay? Is the transportation facilities, the road signage, is everything is okay? Any topic you can select, and you can work on that, asking the questions from the people. That is known as safety survey. Safety tour is a high profile inspection which is mostly included by the senior managers, the project managers, the project directors, the line managers, or the members from the client or other stakeholders or the members of the authority. They are included in that safety tour, that is known as safety tour or senior management, senior leadership side tour, which is high profile. And in that tour, they are raising more serious and critical inspections. Okay, other standards, health surveillance benchmarking. What is health surveillance? Health surveillance monitoring workers' health. It's a proactive measure. When a worker joins the workplace, if the organization is ensuring that they are physically good, their mental and physical health is fit, they are mentally and physically fit, that is known as health surveillance. It's a requirement, it's a legal requirement here in UAE, and I believe in other countries also have 6 month or 1 year medical surveillance record. Every employee need to go under a medical surveillance so that the organization can ensure that they are safe and they are fit to work. Show effectiveness of control. Also, the benefit is it's a proactive measure, like it can save some other problems which we are going to face in the future, and it show effectiveness of controls. It also shows the effectiveness of controls that what we have on site when a person go under a health surveillance. If he have any issue, it will be identified and the report sent to the management. Suppose he have a breathing problem, then accordingly the management will not utilize that guy in confined space work or a work where there is the presence of hazardous substances, hazardous gases. This is a control which can be used after health surveillance record. Benchmarking, comparison to other organizations, can compare between sectors. Benchmark, you can say you set a standard from other organization. Like in just as example, in Saudi Arabia, Aramco is a benchmark. In UAE, ADNOC is a well-known in health and safety, or some other organization or some other sector in any country with the, who are well known in health and safety, they are considered as benchmark. Like the practice for lifting operation, which is being used in ADNOC projects, in oil and gas projects by ADNOC, that is known as benchmarking. Like this procedure they are using, so that procedure is accepted as benchmark. And it's considered as a safe procedure than the others. And compare with the other sectors in other industries, same activity how is going on, that is comparison with other sectors. Then we have workplace inspection and factors to consider, type of inspection, which type of inspection. Suppose we are doing fire inspection, we are doing welfare inspection, we are doing environmental inspection. Frequency of inspection, like how to do the inspection, every day, weekly, bi-weekly or monthly. It depends on the workplace situation and workplace conditions. If more hazards and risk on the workplace, then a regular or frequent inspection is required. If the workplace is not much hazardous and there is no not more hazards and there is no more risk involved in the workplace, suppose only people sitting in an office, then it's not required to inspect the workplace on everyday basis. Allocation of responsibilities, who is responsible to do the inspection and follow up the competency of the inspector. The person who is going to inspect, is he is adequate, competent, use of checklist, is he, he can do some checklist, he can develop a checklist so that he cannot miss anything. Action planning for program for problems found. What is the action plan in case of any observations or non-compliance found? Training of the inspectors, is the inspector or the person who is going to inspect is enough trained or no? Yes, Ali, you raise hand.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, the most allocation. What is allocation, sir? Can you
Didn't I cannot hear you. Please raise your voice.
Allocation word, I can't understand these definition, you can say.
Allocation of responsibilities, like who allocation mean assigning or providing. Who is responsible for this task? Like allocation of resources, like you are going to construct a house, then you allocate 1 million rupees for steel or 1 million rupees for bricks, that is allocation. Or you allow the contractor to use 50 first aid, you ask them to use 50 first aid stations at the workplace. That is known as allocation. Allocation of responsibilities. Who is responsible? Who is responsible to do the task? Who is responsible to do the inspection? Who is responsible to ensure the follow-up and compliance? Yes, any other?
Right, sir.
सर ये फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ इंस्पेक्शन बताइएगा काइंडली ये क्या है
Sorry?
सर सेकंड पॉइंट है फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ इंस्पेक्शन
Frequency of inspection,
काइंडली
as
एक्सप्लेन
I
करते हैं
explained, like how many times and what will be the frequency of inspection. Inspection to be daily, weekly, monthly, or whatever the requirement that is set in the inspection plan. Like how the inspection to be done. This depends on the workplace size and the nature of the work. If there is more hazards, if there is more risk involved, if there is, you can say, chemicals or hazardous material or some other serious issues, then more inspections are required. If it's only a office work, like the people sitting in a banking office, then there is not required of everyday inspection. Then you can say a weekly inspection is enough for that. That is frequency of inspection. Like how often to conduct the inspection. Clear?
सर ये वीकली बेस पे या डेली बेस पे जो इंस्पेक्शन होगी या टाइम ड्यूरेशन के हिसाब से जो इंस्पेक्शन होगी उसे कहेंगे फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ इंस्पेक्शन
Frequency means तादाद. इंस्पेक्शंस की तादाद कितनी होगी इन स्पेसिफिक टाइम, और इंस्पेक्शंस को कैसे शेड्यूल किया जाएगा, डेली करनी है, वीकली करनी है, मंथली करनी है, ये डिपेंड करता है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के नेचर एंड टाइप ऑफ वर्क पे, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साइज पे. बहुत सी चीजें इसमें मैटर करती हैं, लोगों के एक्सपीरियंस, उनकी कॉम्पिटेंसी, जो मटेरियल यूज हो रहा है, जो ह्यूमंस यूज हो रहे हैं, जो वर्क पैटर्न है, जो वर्क एनवायरनमेंट है, इन सारी चीजों को देखते हुए इंस्पेक्शन की फ्रीक्वेंसी जो है ना वो मुतय्यन की जाती है कि इंस्पेक्शन कितने दिनों बाद की जाएगी. दिस इज फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ इंस्पेक्शन. You understand or not yet?
यस सर आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड
Okay, anyone have any other issue to discuss? Any other doubt?
Sir, carry on.
sir.
Okay. Example, inspection system. Yeah, bank head office. Purpose, monitor to health and safety standard. Frequently they set monthly. Persons responsible, managers at different levels. At every level, the manager he is responsible. The competence 1-day course. A 1-day course is enough to ensure to train a person that what he have to inspect while he was inspecting a or bank head office. Inspection checklist, a general checklist tailored if required. He can develop a general checklist. He can tailor it with his own requirements, like what he is going to inspect, what are the factor section, like he want to inspect the welfare facilities in the head office, he want to inspect the toilets, he want to inspect the pantry, he want to inspect the work environment like light, heat, ventilation, and also he need to ensure the follow-up arrangements, like what the follow-up arrangements to be done and who is responsible and when the observations need to be fixed.
सर आवाज आ रही है?
Yes. So here we are talking about checklist. What is the use of checklist? The advantages and
मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
disadvantages. Guys, please mute your mic. If you have any question, please ask. The advantages ensure all points are covered, consistent approach, form of written record, and the disadvantage may ignore items not on checklist. While using a checklist, we have advantage that we will not forget anything because everything is written and then everything will be recorded immediately on the paper. It's consistent approach. Every time you will use the same, then you will find that in last inspection, these items are okay and this is not okay this time. Then you can set the trends, you can find the gaps, where are the gaps. And the disadvantage is when inspector using the checklist, he just focus on the items which are listed in the checklist, and maybe there are some other requirements which need to be inspected. That can be a disadvantage. of using the checklist. Okay, group syndicate exercise. In groups, list the topic heading that should be included in an inspection checklist for use in your workplace. Design a rough format for the inspection checklist. All the guys who are working in any field, in any area, I mean, in any workplace, just develop a checklist and send me in WhatsApp. Develop a checklist of your workplace or your home or your office, your storage, your garage or any area. Develop a rough checklist, draw it on a paper with your what is your understanding about the inspection and what you think is required to inspect there. Just draw that even at your home, draw a form, draw a format and send me on WhatsApp. If any one of you can do that, that will be appreciated.
एक्चुअली सर
Yes.
सर ये इंस्पेक्शन चेकलिस्ट जो है ये साइन होना जरूरी है डेली बेसिस पे या वीकली बेसिस पे?
Whenever you did the inspection, the inspector had to sign. If it's daily or weekly or monthly, whenever and who did the inspection, he need to write his name that this is the person who did the inspection and he must sign that. He must take the responsibility that what are the inspections are here are accurate as per his knowledge and he did this by own.
ओके सर, थैंक यू.
Welcome. Okay, guys, here we have what? Okay. Workplace inspections. What are the typical topics? Fire safety, the presence of fire extinguisher, their maintenance as per required, housekeeping of the workplace, environment issues, appropriate heat, light, ventilation, cold environment, traffic routes like access and exit the traffic routes, the movement of vehicles, chemical safety if there is chemical or hazardous material being used, machinery safety if there is machinery, machines, vehicles and heavy equipments are being used that need to be included. And then we have electrical safety and welfare arrangements at the workplace need to be included in the inspection checklist. Allocation of responsibilities, inspection must follow thorough into action required. Who will be? There is an example like action required: repair damaged fire extinguisher bracket. The fire extinguisher bracket has been damaged, then responsible person. Who is responsible? Maintenance technician. Due date: when this need to be done by 15 July or any times like 1 day, 2 day as per the condition or as per the task. This need to draw a time frame. Here we have effective report writing style, the formal, free of jargons or slang, factual, persuasive, clear, concise. Okay, here we are. This is very, very important topic. When writing a report, anytime any person who inspect the area, who inspect the workplace, he need to, just a moment. We are reading element 5. Element 4 is the remaining that we are going to discuss tomorrow. So we are discussing about report writing. Your report must be presentable, must be in good shape, in good format, and it must have adequate and exact information what you see in the workplace. Because when you are making an observation report or report is going to the senior managers and report is going to the person who is responsible to do the task. So you need to give them a clear idea what they need to do, and you need to tell them what time is required to do that task, how long this need to be done, like in how many days this need to be done. Yes, some people have raised hand. Please tell me.
सर ये जो स्टाइल में सर आपने बताया हुआ है फ्री ऑफ जार्डन और स्लैंज फैक्चुरल सर इसका क्या मीनिंग है? काइंडली एक्सप्लेन कर
Factual,
देंगे?
then we have possessive, clear, concise. Formal means it must have a formal letter. It doesn't mean that you just write 3 lines in a paragraph or in a sentence and then send to them. Then free of jargon or slangs. You must not use more this signs and sample or signals in this one. Rewrite it everything clear so that which is easy to understand for everyone. And in factual means it must depend on the facts. And just a moment. Okay, so it must be as per the facts, like there are 10 fire extinguishers who are expired or not working. So he must write 10 and he must mention the place, like is fire extinguisher number 10, fire extinguisher number 9, fire extinguisher number 25 is not on place. Resources, persuasive means good communicated, like the communication must be good to good in writing and good in understanding. Clear means everything must be clear, not conflicting. Concise means described properly in detail. Like if there is, if someone found that a diesel operated generator is being used without drip tray, so he need to mention that diesel generator location, ID, or the reference number of the generator, the tag number, or whatever the number, the serial number on the equipment, on the tool, they need to mention, then it will become concise. So that when the responsible person go there to check that equipment, it's easy for him to find, like this is the generator number 29YZ. This is the one which is highlighted in the inspection. That is known as concise. And clear now? Guys, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next we have structure of the report. Like what will be the structure of the report mostly? And the structure is already provided by the client or by the contractor, by the employer, or the structure which is normally being used to draw an inspection report. Just a moment, guys. Okay, executive summary. It must be written on the top. Executive summary, like what is the purpose, introduction, main body of the inspection report, who are the participants of the participants in the report, who are the participants in the inspection tour, or what we inspect, and the main body, that is the main body, like these are the observations found or these are the recommendations which need to be done. And then conclusion. Conclusion means these all the observations raised in the site observation report number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are need to be done before 3/12/21, like 1 month, 1 day, 2 days as per required. That is a structure. Like how you draw. First you write an executive summary, then you introduce what is the purpose and who are the one, and then the main body. Main body means the exact matter which need to be done, which need to be communicated with them, and then recommendations, what you recommend them to do to make it safe, and the conclusion of the summary, conclusion of the report. Then content, significant findings, evidence of findings. Content, like what need to be included, the content, significant findings. Suppose you are inspecting a workplace and you just find that one person is not wearing the face mask, or only one person is not wearing the hand gloves. So that is a minor observation. If you find that there is 99.9% compliance, then you just ignore that observation, and that one you can include in the recommendation. But if you find that out of 50, the 30 people are not wearing the PPE, not wearing the required mandatory PPE, that is a significant finding. Or you find that the more of the electrical distribution board, electrical DBs are not inspected, that is a significant. And you need to provide the evidence like picture. You need to take a picture, you need to add that picture with your report so that they can identify and it can be proven that, yeah, this is the electrical DB, or these are the people who are not wearing, who are not complying with the personal protective equipments. And then we have justified recommendations, moral, legal, economic arguments, action plan. Okay, the recommendations must be, what are the requirement? Is it required legally? Is it required morally? Or is it required economically or financially? Like financially means there is already a resources allocated for providing the access road on the workplace, on the project. But if the contractor or if the organization is failed to provide, then the safety representative, they can write them, yeah, financially as per the BOQ item, bill of quantity item, as per the contract clause XYZ, you are responsible. You are legally responsible to provide access road throughout the project in a standard way. And the same legal responsibility, the provision of personal protective equipment and ensuring the compliance with PPE is a legal requirement, and they must give an action plan. Like these observations need to be done. 1, 2, 3, 4 items need to be done in the specific time, and the time must be given there in the organization. So here we have recommended action: TD the office, like clean the office, remove all the mess. Priority medium, time scale 1 week. Responsible person, office supervisor. Like this is only an example for the recommendations. Okay, we have reactive monitoring. Guys, we are just remaining 1 minute now. Then session will be expired. So after 1 minute, join with the same link. Don't wait for me to share the link with you guys every day. We are using the same link throughout the meeting till 15. Up to today, we are using the same. So tomorrow I will share, or I will extend the same link again. So I will end the session now because it's already going to end, and then we will continue with the same link, and we will start the reactive monitoring.